Hi everybody, so I'm going to show you a couple tricks you can do on Photoshop. So after you document your work, in this case it's a 3D design assignment, and you find over here on the right hand side, I'll zoom in, there the paper didn't go all the way over to the edge of the border, preventing you from cropping. So for example, if you just wanted to crop this, let's go to the cropping tool here, and you tried to go in, it would get cropped off right on the edge there, and it's not the same on the other side. So how do you go about that? So what I'm going to do is just pull this back, or put it back to where it was, and I'm going to zoom in that little area I want to work on, and I'm going to use something called the stamp tool. Now, I know the basics of Photoshop, and so someone with much more experience can probably figure out another way of doing this. The nice thing about Photoshop, there's so many tools and there's so many different ways to skin a cat. But this is, you'll start to kind of use tools that you are familiar with and you know you can make work. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select the stamp, and I'm just going to zoom in even more. And if you see the circle here, it's a little small, so I'm just going to make it slightly bigger up here in the size. So I can just get a little bigger. I think that's good enough. And what I'm going to do, okay, it won't let me stamp anything, so I'm going to have to double click the background. That makes it okay, and now I can start to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select Option, and you want to go over here on the lighter part, or the part that you're going to stamp, select Option, and then you're just going to click your mouse pad or the or whatever you have, and that should sample that one spot. You can kind of see that little haze there. My son is right next to me, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, as I'm going up, it's just stealing the information from the left and putting it to the right. And I'm just going to go all the way up and down as much as I can here without going over the, what do you call it, sculpture itself. And so I'm just kind of working my way over until it's there. If you go too fast, watch this. Oops, right, see how I doubled that? Just going to go back, edit, undo, clone stamp. I just went edit, undo, clone stamp. Or you can go to history. You have to show history though. Oh, I'm just going to, under window, you can go down to history, then it shows history, so you can kind of go forward and then back if you don't know how to do that. So in here, it's going to get really tight. So I'm going to have to zoom in and change the size of my brush, maybe even smaller, because I don't have a lot of working room here. Maybe even smaller. I think that's good enough. And I just have to slowly build my way out. So what I'm going to do is about right here, I'm going to clone and try to work my way out. Of that little section. Oops. Now I'm going to clone again here. And you can kind of see where you go next. See how it's kind of up on an angle now? You'll get used to that. Trying to get this little spot, so I'm going to have to clone here, go down, and then click, and then you can see it's above. So I'm kind of working my way out of that little hole here. Now I'm going to clone here and just see if I can get out of there. I'm almost out. I think that's good enough. Now I can just clone here and see if I can just get out a little. Once I get out a little further, then I can use a bigger clone or a bigger brush. Just cut the droops. Just trying to clean this up here. And I'm just going to get a larger brush here. Might be a little too large at the moment. There we go, that's perfect. So I'm going to clone here and then work my way out. And I could probably finish it with this size. And you can see there's some kind of pattern starting to form there. But I'm zoomed in so much that you probably won't even see that once I crop. I'm going to increase the size so I can speed this up. Go a little bit more. There we go. You can see I made a little mistake there, but that's okay. See how it's a little lighter here? And it's a little darker on this side. I'm just going to steal from here and see if I can change that. Give me 1 second here. I just got to fix something. Just trying to blend this out. Good enough. It's not the best job, but you get the idea. And then I'm just going to finish over here. Done. And done. Okay. Now I can zoom out, and be honest, you can hardly tell because I was working in so closely, but that seems to be pretty good. I'm just going to crop a little bit more, maybe just a hair. I'll zoom in a little bit though. I think that's good. And I think I'm going to crop a little from the bottom, just to somewhat square this off, almost. I don't need that much at the bottom. And I'm going to leave it like that. And then one more thing I'm going to show you. If you go up to, let me just make this a little bigger here. All right, you probably can't see what I'm doing here. If I go up to Image, Adjustments, and then Levels, this is a cool little trick. I can lighten, darken, or I do a little bit of both. And you don't want to go too extreme here. You're just kind of making subtle adjustments. And just by adjusting that a little bit, I kind of increased the contrast slightly. And if you look at the preview, it looks a little different. Is it a little better? I don't know. I suppose so. So I'm going to keep it that way. And see how it's darker on this side? I'm going to show you one more trick. This is called dodging and burning. And I'm going to, this is called dodging and burning, this little thing here on the left. And I'm going to increase the size of my brush by a lot. This feels good. Okay. And if you look, I just made this lighter. I'm going to hold this button down because I was dodging. I actually want to burn. Dodge is lightning, burn is darker. No idea why the brush went back to small, but I'm going to go here. All right, now I'm going to start to make this a little darker. You can adjust the hardness of it in terms of how dark it gets. And right now, I think I want to get a larger brush. And then let's see what this does. Does this do it? I don't know if I like it. I think it's a little too dark. It looks a little unnatural. So maybe I'll just go back to what I had before. I think that's fine. I'm not going to mess with this at all, because if I dodge, then I'm going to also, or burn, I'm going to also burn the sculpture itself. I would have to cut the sculpture out and then dodge and burn the background to match the other side. But that's if I was getting really technical. For now, that's all I wanted to show you. And hopefully this is helpful.